Hey everyone, Sweet Johnny Cage here, back with another guide for Resident Evil Village. This time I'm going to show you how to defeat Lady Dimitrescu on Village of Shadows difficulty without the use of any infinite ammo weapons. Preparation for this fight is very, very important. Ammo conservation is the name of the game in Village of Shadows, so you want to come into this fight with as much firepower as possible. You want to level up the Lemmy, the shotgun, and the sniper rifle to at least level 2 power, or as high as it can go before Lady Dimitrescu, and try to level up the rate of fire pretty high as well. And then ammo capacity on the sniper rifle gives you a few free bullets, which is also very important this early in the game. And that's kind of it. So if you have some pipe bombs or mines, those will help as well. But that's really all there is for prep. Don't forget to use your lockpicks throughout the castle and get any extra shotgun ammo or gunpowder, any locks that are safe to pick without too many enemies around. The main strategy you want to employ during this boss encounter is to only use focused shots, and these are the shots that occur when you hold the aim down the sight or L2 or left trigger, and then the crosshair closes in into a dot. These are slightly more powerful shots, and because Lady Dimitrescu has so much HP, you want to get every ounce of firepower out of your weapons as possible. So throughout this fight, this is really long. It takes me like 17 minutes. I'm not going to talk over the whole thing, but you will notice that I'm being very, very surgical with my shots, and I'm only taking them when I have a dot sight and not the full crosshair. It's very, very important. The other thing is that you want to aim for Lady Dimitrescu herself, and you want to avoid hitting the beast. You can hit the beast and she will take damage, but not nearly as much as if you're just hitting her. It's hard to do, and this will take you a while. I think cumulatively this took me about 4 or 5 hours to actually get through without using any of the infinite ammo weapons, so it's a really, really hard fight. So I'm primarily using my pistol ammo here, and with the extra ammo that they give you at the beginning of the fight, I have about 60-65 bullets to work with. And then I also have a total of 19 sniper shots left. I did use a sniper rifle in the beginning there. Throughout the fight, at least early on, Dimitrescu will sort of jump off the edge and then just fly in place. And then after a few seconds or so, she'll send a swarm of bugs after you. The way to avoid these is to just hop into one of the 2 little turrets that is available to you throughout the fight. And then once the bugs start flying towards the sky, they can no longer deal damage to you. So then you want to run over here and hug the wall of the tower. This kind of manipulates her AI into landing in a really specific place. This works, I'd say, about 90% of the time until both of the turrets are destroyed. And she can destroy the turrets. But don't worry, after she destroys the turrets, she will no longer send swarms of bugs after you, so the mechanic kind of cancels out. But the trade-off is that she becomes way more erratic while flying, as you're about to see here. So she tends to sort of jump off and then swoop around, and then either move 1 or 2 positions in this square here. It's very important to consider the shape of this boss arena, and that it is a square. And then knowing that will help you sort of visualize where she's going to land and what she's going to do. But again, the general strategy is to hit her with focused shots as often as possible. It's really hard to do with the sniper rifle, which is why I recommend actually using sniper ammo in the beginning of the fight, because she's more or less standing completely still. So I wouldn't recommend using handgun. I sort of thought of that during this attempt, and it worked out. The other thing I want to mention is that I have the capability, or the resources, to make 3 extra packs of handgun ammo. So I'm able to make an extra 45 handgun rounds. That's really important because it takes literally all of them and a few shotgun shells and all of my sniper ammo just to get her through to the second phase. So I'm basically running out of ammunition by the time this fight is over. So as you can see here, she just destroyed one of the turrets, so now my only recourse is to hide in the first one, the one that we came out of. Very important, what you want to always make sure to do is stay 1 lane ahead of her. So you'll see that she's in the lane she's in now, and I run all the way to the end of the next one. You always want to sort of stay 1 step ahead of her whenever possible. So when she swoops down on an angle, that generally means that she's just going to hover in place in front of the section that she jumped off of. But if she does not immediately appear here, that means that she's going to start flying around. And when she does that, and we'll see here in a little while, once we sort of get past this phase, you will notice that she has one of two attacks afterwards. She will either fly one section over, swoop back and hover there for a second to allow you to deal some damage, or she can fly right into you. And that is a really, really difficult move to predict and to avoid. I'm not that great at it. I'm not 100% sure if it happens in too many of the, if it happens at all in this attempt. I feel like I got her into a decent pattern, but that is something that can happen. Another thing you want to try to do is hug the interior wall. This will allow you to sort of save your towers as long as possible. It's not the worst thing in the world if the towers go away, because then she'll stop sending swarms of bugs after you, but still, you want to try to conserve them as much as possible, because it's an easy enough mechanic to deal with as long as you can run into a tower. Okay, so basically from here on out, the fight just keeps repeating itself, except now she's going to start flying around a lot more often. If you notice that she's flying around and you can't exactly see her, I recommend backing off of the interior wall and then sort of positioning yourself to where you are facing the corner of that wall. This way you can see both open sides. And then this will allow you to determine where she's going to land, and then you can run away from her. There is no point in this fight that you want to run towards the boss. There is no mechanic that you can avoid by doing that. You always want to run the opposite direction that she's coming. Hands down, that's really the only thing you want to do, is just always run away from her. I know that sounds obvious, but in the final boss fight, that's kind of the opposite strategy. When the final boss is jumping down on you, you want to sort of run towards her and then you can avoid it. In this fight, no, you always want to be running away. So around this time, you'll notice that that interior wall trick no longer works, and that's because she's going to be flying a bit more erratically. So you always just sort of want to pay attention to the audio cues if you can, and that will really help you determine where she's coming from. One thing that the boss can do is turn around. This doesn't happen very often, but when it does, don't chase after her. You cannot catch up to this boss. And shooting the beast just does way less damage, and you're never going to get a good vantage point on Lady Dimitrescu herself by trying to chase her around. Instead, just stay in the corner that you're near, turn around and wait for her to come to you, and you should be able to get one or two good shots off on her body. But that's kind of it from here on out. So what I'm going to do now is I'll let this play out. Heads up, I did leave my microphone on, so you're going to hear my button clicks and probably me sighing a bunch after, I'm still not killing her. But believe me, this will eventually lead into phase 2, and then I'll resume the commentary. One very important thing that I forgot to mention earlier because it hadn't happened yet is if you do end up getting caught in a swarm of bugs, all you want to do is just hold the block button until they go away. You can take a ton of damage from the bugs. They can basically drop you from 100 to 0 if you are not careful. But if they get in your face, which is going to happen here in a second because I just misjudged this whole transaction, but if they get in your face, just hold the block button until they go away. And you'll notice I wasn't even pushed down to yellow caution. I was still on like light green fine. So I didn't take too much damage, but if you don't hold the block button, they can basically put you on danger or one hit away from death. So if you ever get swarmed, just hold L1 to block the whole thing. Lady Dimitrescu should not use any attacks while that's happening, so don't worry about trying to dodge her. Just don't walk in her general direction and you should be okay. Alright, so back with the commentary. I am starting to use pipe bombs just because I'm trying my best to conserve shotgun ammo for the final phase. So if you have any bombs or mines, go ahead and use them. You get a few more, and you don't really need too many throughout the rest of the game, unless you're just trying to like blow enemies away and try to get them to despawn. So I'm being pretty liberal with my mines and all that. But you'll notice here that I bucked a shot into the boss's body, and then she kind of takes a while to recover from that hit. If you notice that's what's happening, stop shooting her. Just sort of let her fly around and see what happens. If it looks like she starts taking damage randomly, and she says not enough blood, you have successfully gotten through phase 1. So now it's time to go to phase 2. You want to immediately start climbing the tower, and then take out your knife, and you can break both of these pots with one manual slash. So we get some shotgun ammo and some handgun bullets, and then we wait for the boss to crash into the tower and break it apart. This phase is really, really easy as long as you have ammo. If you have to use the knife, it's going to get a lot harder. But you can avoid the boss 100% of the time as long as you know what to look for. It can be a little tricky because she does delay her attacks, but when the beast roars in a direction, you want to move to the opposite side. So you just sort of pivot left and right throughout this phase, and then wherever the beast roars, that's where it's moving. All the while, do your best to get clear shots onto Lady Dimitrescu herself. You still do not want to aim for the beast unless you have to use the knife. If you have to use the knife, just sort of try to get in the beast's face, but also it's very difficult to determine where it's going to go when you're in its face. But that's how you can do it with a knife. I've tried it myself. It does work. It's just really hard. But for the remainder of this phase, just keep moving between the left and right position. And if you feel like you sort of messed up and the boss is going to run into you and try to eat you, just hold L1 to block, and then you shouldn't take too much damage. You may get close to the point of death sometimes, depending on if you were at full health. But otherwise, if that happens, just try to heal up really quick if you have any first aid meds left. But other than that, yeah, so right here, I did not block. I thought I was safe, but I was in the wrong position. But other than that, this phase is pretty simple. You do get a decent amount of ammo when you come up here, more than enough to kill her, at least in my opinion. Shotgun is going to make this go a lot quicker. If you have any sniper rounds left, go ahead and use that. It's pretty much the most powerful gun in the game outside of the Magnum, and you have it this early, so just feel free to use it. But other than that, we just keep pivoting back and forth, bucking shots into the boss herself, never the beast, and you will eventually get her to drop. And then once she sort of turns around and starts screaming, that's it, stop shooting. Village of Shadows difficulty is all about ammo conservation and preparation. So you want to try to end every single fight with as much ammo as possible. And you really don't want to kill too many enemies outside of the mandatory ones. And as you can see, my final shotgun shell is what did it. I still had that full pack of handgun ammo, so if I needed to, I could have switched there. And so we sort of end this fight with about 15 handgun bullets. Unfortunately, no more mines, no more pipe bombs, but that's okay. I can make some later. And that's it. That is Lady Dimitrescu on Village of Shadows difficulty without the use of any infinite ammo weapons or New Game Plus bonuses. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. If you're looking for more guides for Resident Evil Village, especially Village of Shadow walkthroughs, please subscribe to the channel so you get alerted when new guides go live. If you're interested in supporting the channel monetarily, please consider becoming a channel member by clicking the blue join button below this video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Twitch, and as always, I'm Sweet Johnny Cage. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.